Anyway, yo, we're back. The Sports Back Bros podcast is coming back at you after a huge weekend of sports. Man, there's just so many things that had gone down. We're not just talking about the regular little sports that we talked about just to carry us over, mostly led by the NFL. The NFL will get talked about, but everything else is happening. Baseball started up. Huge boxing match. Basketball is as serious as it can be, both college and the NBA. Let's roll.
Yeah, man, I had a tremendous weekend.
I know you did, bro. Come on now.
First Friday night, NC State beat the shit out of Marquette. Okay, they didn't win by 20, but they dominated. I told the world Marquette cannot shoot the ball. Bro. They were 2 for 25? Whatever. Oh. Hey, NC State, they played defense too. It wasn't just Marquette. NC State contributed to their ineptness.
Absolutely.
But my Friday night was off to a great start. End of the night, Oscar Valdez goes in the ring. Man, he's on the back nine. He's been in some wars. And you think he comes face first, but he fought a very smart fight, man. He was economical with his punches. I can't remember the kid's name from Australia, but he had some talent, but he got lured in to throwing big shots and exchanging with Valdez. And yeah, the old vet got him, man. So Friday night I was on cloud nine.
Yo,
love Valdez, man. He's classy. He's all heart, man. I don't see how you can't like him as a boxer.
Exactly, man. People who really love boxing, and you know what? Once again, the same old story. Another Mexican boxer showing up, just doing it. Even on the back nine, still as exciting as a lot of guys that we're watching now. That's supposed to be in their prime or top prospects. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? But there's some huge boxing, and that just started off what ended up being 4 championship fights the following day, which was Saturday, highlighted by a fight that ended the way probably no one would have thought, with a champion that no one would have ever thought because of a short notice fight. But we'll get to that just as well. But starting off with that, going back a little bit for a second to North Carolina State doing what they had done. Man, come on, the lowest seeded team still in the tournament, going to the Final Four, first time since '83, and we know how it went down in '83.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Let's get this boxing out the way. We'll get to it.
Boxing, man.
Instead of going back and forth.
Yeah, but the fight we're talking about, let's come out right away and just say it. There was Tszyu and there was Fundora. Sebastian Fundora, we already know about him because 6'6", 154 freaking pounds, a freak of nature, a guy who does not have to make weight. I've heard people say, why don't he start weight bullying? Just because they see that he's 6'6". No, this is his weight. And he came in 2 pounds under. Come on now.
Look at his legs, man. He's got sticks for legs, twigs.
Yo,
I actually don't like watching him. He's just too freaky looking for me, man.
Look at the weigh-in. Look at the weigh-in. Look like freaking Will Chamberlain and freaking Muhammad Ali, or even a midget. But I remember, though, a couple of years ago, I posted him as an amateur here in Florida. And I was like, man, imagine this guy going to the pros. I don't think he's going to probably go to the pros. If he does, man, they're going to kill his body. Bro, the dude can fight. It's just that
definitely.
He can definitely fight. He got a little bit of pop in the whole nine. He just doesn't fight his weight. With that kind of a freaking reach, there's no reason why you should even come out of your corner, because you shouldn't have to. You can reach a guy from the freaking corner, hit him in the middle of the ring. But he still gets into rumbles like he's Tommy Hearns and Hagler, wants to fight somebody, show how tough he is, and that cost him in his previous fight, got him knocked out by Mendoza. This time around, he was getting ragdolled 2 weeks notice, but the elbow to the head is what changed the complexion of this fight.
I'd call it the head to the elbow because he didn't have anything to do with Tszyu's gash on his head. Tszyu tipped into his elbow. It was just bad luck. But, I joke saying I don't like to watch Fundora fight, but I have a ton of respect for him. Oh, Saturday night, and for Tszyu, man, that was a nasty. His corner could not stop the bleeding. He kept wiping the blood. He's getting punched at the same time. But he had done some damage to Fundora. He was bleeding from the nose nonstop. He was bleeding in the mouth. Man, both those guys, they gutted out a tough fight. And they went back. I'd say neither one took a step backwards. They just went for it. And I think the cut was the deciding factor because
it was absolutely no question.
Tszyu wasn't able to see. You could see the fight change. Everything changed from that moment on. Yeah. So it's unfortunate. But I want to say, why the hell are they bringing Errol Spence into the ring? Doesn't Tszyu deserve a rematch? I mean, he was the champ. We're already going to set up a fight with Errol Spence? Come on, man.
You know what it is. You know exactly what it is.
It's the same PBC bullshit.
You know it. Exactly. We know what it is with PBC. They're now going to hold the belt hostage for their own guys now. Tszyu is not a PBC fighter. What's going to happen to him? He's going to go back to Australia, make some money fights, and going to have to get in line again. And the public's going to demand a rematch because they know what the deal is. They know that cut really mattered and it really had a part to play in this fight. But PBC is going to ignore it. They have their guys. And what are they going to do? Put one of their biggest guys that people are clamoring to see right now because they still want to know, is this guy the same guy that we thought he was before he fought Bud? Or can he just give us some hope to realize that he can just beat Fundora if he gets in there so that we can at least call Bud out if he looks good enough to do so? I'll tell you another title shot for another year, I believe, or a year and a half.
I'll tell you this much. He has a rematch clause with Bud. If he doesn't fight Bud and he goes for Fundora, he's belt chasing. No, I'm not with that, man. You got your ass whooped. You got a rematch clause. Go get your belts back. Get Bud's belts.
But you don't
go after Fundora. Come on, man. That's weak.
You know how boxing is, though. Sometimes, in fact, most times, they don't care about what the public at large says.
I'm just saying, man, because Adrian Boner's a three-division champion. You think he kept getting title shot after title shot? He get his ass whooped, get another title shot against some bum, and now you got Floyd saying he beat the most world champions in history. Well, no shit, there's 5 champions for every weight class.
I don't even listen to that nonsense. I'm glad you even said that part because you're talking about you have to be in their reindeer games in order to get a shot at the freaking title in any capacity. That's PBC, by the way. And that's what we get the chance to talk about our co-main event card where Pitbull Cruz fought against Rolly Romero, a guy who should not have gotten a freaking belt to begin with. If you ever had a definition of a paper champ, this guy was a freaking postcard coming into the ring.
Man, I don't have anything against Rolly.
Neither do I.
I think he's actually good for the sport. You know, with all his trash talking, he brings attention to the sport. You know, he's in the mix. I wouldn't call him top 5 in the division, but he has talent. He has some power.
He's good power.
Man, Pitbull Cruz was like Michael Myers, man. His expression didn't change. Nothing Rolly did fazed him. He just kept coming. He was on a mission to get that ass, and he got it.
That's the way he fights. That's the way he fights. You know what? And Paulie Malignaggi, who surprised me, I usually almost agree with Paulie with everything because I believe he's one of the best analysts, period, in boxing. He actually picked Rolly to win this fight. And I was like wondering, what did I miss? I watched enough of Rolly. I've seen enough of Pitbull Cruz because that's how I got in the bandwagon. And I've been on it for a while with him. You know, I was a little disappointed in his previous fight before Rolly when the footwork is going to be his problem. If you can move around the ring and you have the conditioning and you have real boxing skill set to kind of move and keep him off balance, he's going to have issues. He won a split decision, which is arguably could have been a damn draw. But anyway, he's the champ now. And Paulie picked him to lose because I don't believe he thinks that Isak has any talent. Bro, sometimes that toughness, that freaking grinded out mentality overwhelms all the talent you have. And you're not talking about somebody who does have an overwhelming amount of talent when it comes to Rolly because he doesn't. He has power, and at least in the tank fight, he showed that he had some boxing skill for a little while, but it still ended the same way. He got KO'd 1-2 in his last 3 fights. I mean, that's another case of PBC or knowing who you know to get the position that you're at. You may not deserve, which he did not deserve. We saw the previous fight he had against the old man that Errol Spence called him out on. If you cried, you were that old man that whooped on you. You know, and then Tony Weeks having a terrible night stopping that fight.
I just thought it was funny. I found it funny anyway, because as I mentioned earlier, Rolly's one of the biggest shit talkers in boxing.
Absolutely. I could listen
and he had a point taken away for holding. Yo, back it up, bro. What you holding for?
For the first round.
Come on now.
He got caught with that overhead right in the first round, and he didn't want nothing to do with it anymore. I mean,
if you want the smoke, you calling everybody out. You want the smoke, don't start holding. I mean, not to the point where a point gets taken away.
Taking a point away.
John Ruiz was probably at home clapping. Yeah, hold it, yeah.
But bro, I'm telling you, Rolly, man, and I like the personality, but and even when he fought Tank, I thought this was a precursor to, even though he lost the fight, that he would take it serious. Not that he wasn't taking it serious before, but based on what he was showing in skill in previous fights to Tank, I'm like, bro, this guy isn't progressing. Well, he did fight better than expected against Tank. He looked like he had some talent and had a starting point even after the loss, and he seemed to have regressed since that. No, another friend of mine says, well, he's punch shot. He's shocked now. He's shot. I don't think he's shot. I don't think he's that freaking good. It's just that simple in terms of skill. And now we see that in a sport like boxing, when it's not necessarily the talent, it's not necessarily the power, when it becomes a battle of attrition, he doesn't have that fortitude to go along with the attrition. That's why he was backing up and looking for a way out of the damn fight. Esau gave it to him. Pitbull just gave it to him. Called him a chihuahua. Bro, take this guy to the vet. Get out of here. You got him.
And it could be that was his 18th, 19th fight.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wasn't, he's not ready for the upper echelon of the sport.
But absolutely.
He's there now, so it's too late.
Well, he's there now getting embarrassed and getting cashed out on. That's what I'm thinking. Because he still talks and whatnot. Because even Broner, when he starts talking again, they start talking about title shot opportunities. All he's going against top contenders. I'm like, yo, bro, when the last time Broner fight again? It's fought again. And every time you look around, Broner says something. Next thing you know, they got him back in the mix talking about top guys. Man, I don't know if it's just talk or they really believe that nonsense. This dude, the life he's been living outside of the ring, the stories we've seen, heard, or what the videos we've seen of him pissed drunk in a lobby with a chick having to hold him up. Bro, that's not the way a boxer who's a championship caliber top fighter lives, especially one who's been given so many opportunities like Broner. But, Rolly, he hasn't come across as that type who does nonsense outside of the ring. He just says the nonsense and gets into the ring and doesn't back it up. I think he's hit his ceiling. The talent isn't there. I don't believe it is. And PBC is going to be a reason why he get his title shot again if he does. And I know what, earlier today or yesterday, Silky Wilkie Camford, a friend of mine, he fought for the IBF title against Charlo years ago, the IBF super middleweight title. He got beat. He came on like, yo, bro, how come I don't have a title shot? I'm telling you, it's who you know. It's who you know. He's crying about it. He's bitching about it. And he's every bit right. Now, he wasn't going to beat Charlo regardless, but at least he could have got recycled and put back in there and gotten another opportunity as Rolly has. But the age difference matters too. Who can cash out for the longest without getting too much damage before they kick to the side? Boxing 101, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. You mentioned Rolly probably hit his ceiling, and that's why I mentioned they probably rushed him. He could have developed further, before you put him in with Tank. But
the mouthpiece got him there. He got him in his mouthpiece.
Obviously, he thought he was ready, and he found out he wasn't. And now he has another bad loss. He took a beating the other night.
Yeah, he took a beating. Hell yeah, this fight's going to damage him.
He was hurt several times throughout that fight. He didn't go down. But those are the type of fights where you're just getting hit and your head's rocking, and those are the ones that really cause a lot of damage.
Yeah, he was on Bambi legs a lot of time in that fight, man. I mean, Cruz was not backing up. Same game plan, overhand right, and then he goes to the body, overhand right. It was coming, and he still couldn't get away from it.
And give Cruz credit too, man. He took some hard right hands. He just ate.
We know about Pitbull though.
They didn't do nothing.
We know about Pitbull. We know that this dude doesn't get that name Pitbull just because he comes. This dude gets hit, and it's like he hadn't been hit, and then he still comes and gets you.
That reminds me of one of my friends, not Anthony Isaac Cruz did, but he loves fighting. Growing up, he loves fighting, and he had a good punch, and he would knock people out. And he told us a story one time. He's like, man, this dude was messing with me, and I hit him, man. I never hit anybody so good. He's like, when you get a hold of the ball, you're playing baseball, and you don't even feel the ball hit the bat.
Yep, that's when you know.
That's how it felt, man. And he said it looked, and the dude was still standing. He said, "Oh shit!" So I just ran.
Bro, those are those moments, man. I remember Bert Sugar called boxing legalized assault. So if you're in the ring and that same thing happens, the problem is you can't run out. Well, you can, and your career pretty much over you did, but you typically don't. You just have to kind of regather, or you know what? You just get your mind working. You might want to clinch more or try to find a way not to be within the perimeter you know his power is going to be in. I think anyone who's been in the ring, amateur or pro, if you fought long enough, you know that feeling of when you're hitting dudes that go down all the time, and then there's a time you hit a dude with that same shot, and he's still coming, and it looks like he hasn't even felt it. Your mind starts working a completely different way, and that's just how it goes.
You start holding. You start holding.
You know what? You try to clinch. You be like, man, you lean on this guy. Hope the ref saves you or something. On the street, man, at least you can keep running to the other street and get away from this guy. But now it stands to reason. Even though Tank and Pitbull had fought before, Tank had gotten hurt in that fight, barely won that fight. That's what really put Pitbull on the map, and the reason why he's still getting title shots, because he's there to bring entertainment. He's there to get after your ass, and he got after Tank. Tank said, hell no, I don't want to fight this guy again. Bro, now you may have to fight this guy again. I think the noise is there.
I mean, I tweeted early in that fight, in the first round after you heard Romero, I said, Pitbull is showing why Tank didn't give him a rematch.
Yeah, and that's true. But you know what? Because I keep on, I always try to keep it in perspective and not be biased, at least in this case.
And that doesn't mean that I think he'd beat Tank.
No,
I want to see it.
No, I want to see it, but I want to have that complete true element of the fight between the two. I don't want the injuries, and you can't predict these things in a fight. I don't want the injury to be an issue. You know, like Floyd fought Castillo the first time. It was a shoulder injury. No one wants to hear that. If you hate Floyd, no, it wasn't. He just got beat. And then in the rematch, we see the big difference between the talent and the Floyd fighter that he is and what Castillo was. In my opinion, Castillo should be a freaking Hall of Fame, in my opinion, but that's just me. But anyway, a fringe at least. But in this case, they say, Tech was hurt. Cruz came along, still banging on him, doesn't give up. We know the style. They got to fight again. Because those two styles, though, are going to mesh well for an entertainment fight, because Tech is not going to stand the outside and try to outbox you, even though he has fast hands. So he will have to come after, and he has the power to do something to Pitbull. And let's see if that power doesn't matter. If you're healthy, if you manage to stay healthy for that entire 12-round fight, if it goes that long.
Yeah, it'll be a left hook frenzy again.
Oh, absolutely.
With some left uppercuts from Tank mixed in.
Yeah, so that fight, I think, is a fight that has to happen, man. But Rolly put the guy in mothballs. I think his career should be over. I don't know why I don't know why, business-wise, he has the mouthpiece and the people come to watch him lose, or just watch the build-up more so than the pay-per-view event. But anyways, man, that was some damn good boxing we had this past weekend. It's been some time, man. Pretty much almost going into a half a year soon.
We also got to mention Seniesa Estrada. She unified and became the undisputed champ. So props to her also.
See, I didn't know that. I'm not gonna act like I knew it. I should have known it.
Man, yeah, her fight was right before Cruz and Rolly.
Okay, so this isn't like boxing years ago when you talked about the men and you kind of threw the women in there to kind of balance things out. Women are actually doing real boxing now. There's a lot more women now, and there are a lot of good women that are fighting. People might not want to hear it. I know Clarissa Shields has been talking about getting 3-minute rounds. She's vouching for it. Other women are now vouching for it. Let's see if it ever happens. But yeah, when women fight now, it's no longer just we don't want to see a Mia St. John because she's pretty, or we just want to see somebody because they're this, or like Christy Martin was just a staple because of the historic value she had in the fight. We want to see these chicks because they're not a figure fight, and they're putting up good-ass shows. They finally getting that defense down. Before it was all figure headshots. Now they get that defense down.
Right. Seniesa Estrada, she's considered top 5 pound for pound in the world. And now she has all the belts at her weight class. She had a super fight with Esparza. She came out on top in that fight. She's undefeated. And I think she's Roy Jones's favorite female fighter, by the way.
Oh, really?
So, she's got a lot of talent.
Exactly. So if they're going to harness more with another Olympics coming around in Paris, they're going to have more women boxing, even though they're trying to get rid of boxing. But I know there's going to be more women coming through the pipeline, so we'll get a chance to see it grow even more. I mean, looking at what it once was to what it is right now, even without this Olympics, there are a lot of good women coming in right now. even more so than it was in MMA when you just had Ronda Rousey pretty much and Cyborg, and no one really knew too many other people. But now you got more women there, but I think even more women in boxing that have named. I mean, look at Serrano when she got her million, and Katie Taylor in Serrano when they made $1 million in Madison Square Garden. That was pretty big. Come on, man. Whoever would have thought that would have happened in Madison Square Garden, headlining.
Right.
Yeah.
Headline the pay-per-view card.
Now, what do we have left coming up in boxing? I know we have the Ryan Garcia fight. By the way, Ryan Garcia was more than happy to talk nonsense to Rolly because Rolly canceled the fight they were supposed to have. He wanted an easy route towards the title. He knew Rolly was that guy that you could fight and almost virtually win the title just because you had boxing skill. You became a cheap champ. Come on, man. That's what it would have been.
Yeah, but Garcia got to be careful because, you know, he was clowning Rolly after the fight. Mm-hmm. Rolly may have his opportunity to clown him back after the Haney fight.
Yeah, that's probably, you know,
as expected. I don't think Garcia, he's developed nearly as much as Haney since the amateurs.
Absolutely not. People are using that they're using it as the reason to watch this fight. They keep bringing up their amateur fights. They fought 6 times. I think it's split down the middle 3-3. They're using that as the angle for the promotion. You know, because
I wouldn't be surprised if Haney wins 8 or 9 rounds.
That's what I'm thinking too. I wouldn't be surprised if he clipped him, got him out of there. You know,
I would. I don't.
He's a little stronger now. It looks like he's a little stronger at 140. I mean, it does. I mean,
we'll see. But
yeah, because he was down, you know, at 135 for how long? I mean, he was down at 130, 135. I mean, the dude's been since he was 16 years old. Didn't even allow himself to grow, killing himself to get down there. Got a little bit more freedom in training and probably got strong along the way. Got his manpower maybe a little later. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Ryan Garcia and Haney, nice fight. Talk about the amateur experience. We can go through a litany of fights in the past in which fighters have fought the amateurs, and then in the pros it was different. Mike Tyson and Henry Tillman. You know, back-to-back nights, Mike gets beat in the Olympic trials, and he fights him in the pros. He beats him in the first round, less than 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You know, just under the round, you know, 1 round limit. Come on, man. So there's so much difference. You know, Mark Breland only lost 1 fight as an amateur, 110-1. He fights the same guy in the pros, gets rid of him. Well, he doesn't get rid of him. He beats him by decision. But anyway, we've seen it so many times. But anyway, that brings us to even more things. College basketball. Come on now. Now, this is a chance to talk about what North Carolina State is doing, and they deserve the props they're getting now. I know this hasn't been the tournament that people are expecting to see in terms of overall talent, bro, but the teams that are showing up, they're playing like those teams that we remember at the right time. I mean, Purdue, first of all, bruh, come on now. They got hot at the right time.
Right. So NC State first. This is it for all them Dukies out there.
Woo,
we got you. Bro. We got you. We got you.
Duke loses.
Watch from home next weekend, buddy. Anyway, yeah, my throat kind of hurts. I was screaming so much watching that game. DJ Burns was putting in work. Duke, they took their chances. They'd rather have him beat them in the paint than have him kick it out for threes. It didn't matter because that defense was stifling yesterday.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'll tell you what, man.
They struggled the first half. They struggled worse the second half. NC State was putting it on them defensively, man.
Yeah, defensively, yeah. You know what? And the deal about it is, remember, North Carolina State, they are the ACC tournament champs. I mean, come on. This was something that came from the behind. That's what even got them into the tournament. Without that freaking ACC tournament championship, they don't get into the tournament. You know what I mean? Being a number 11 seed. But this
so
just
happens to be that. 5 games in 5 days, and then 4 games in the tournament. That's 9 straight winner-go-home games they've had to play, and they're still alive.
And they're still alive.
That's crazy.
Still alive.
That's
like they said, the Godfather. 5 times, he's still alive. Yo, how about Ben Middlebrooks? I mean, he played hell. You know, this guy's body.
He played really well yesterday.
I've seen the shirt with Ben Middlebrooks' uncle on it, and I'm looking at this guy like, what? He's one of those, man. I'm like, Ben Middlebrooks' uncle. He has a shirt that says Ben Middlebrooks' uncle. He has like an arrow on it. You know, corny as hell. I'm like, this dude vicariously living through his nephew. And then I think about like, man, he looks familiar, but I'm not thinking about him being anybody. Danny freaking Cannell. I said, yo, bro, that's Danny Cannell. Bro, right. I knew of Danny Cannell since he was a high school player. That dude was so good at everything. when I first went to Fort Lauderdale in 1991, he was on the front page of the freaking Sentinel. That's the paper they have down in the Sun Sentinel. This dude, baseball, football, and basketball, they had him juggling it with a graduation hat on. The dude had him on 4.0 GPA. His father was a freaking doctor for the Dolphins at the time. I'm sure he's not that, there anymore if he's still alive. But that dude was just absolutely brilliant. Small school, they won the state championship, goes to Florida State, plays for the Giants, and this is this guy. I'm like, I gotta see. I actually looked it up. Middlebrook's uncle, and it came up. Middlebrook's uncle. I was like, Daddy Cannell, what the hell, bro? That's one dude that even though he's not a Cane, that's my dude, man. I can fuck with Daddy Cannell, man. For real, Seminole and everything, man. That dude was just that cooler dude coming up.
So if you've watched past shows, you may have heard me mention I have friends who are Carolina fans. They're almost as happy as I was that State beat Duke. They texted me congratulations, way to beat them Dukies, and it was, man. Yesterday was a great day. You talk about their first Final Four since 1983. I have one friend. Is my homie when I lived in Indianapolis, and I haven't lived there a long time, but we're still tight. He's a Duke fan, and so I texted him and said, "Sorry, my guys got you." Not really, and so he texted back, "Yeah, congratulations. It must feel good, little brother beating the big brother." And I didn't really have much to say to that other than, yeah, you're right. It does feel good.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I was on cloud 9 yesterday.
What about this DJ Burns? What are your thoughts on him? You're a guy on your team, leading the team. I mean, NBA player they're talking about. I wonder if he's one of these NBA players that becomes an NBA player throughout the tournament. Because I was like, yo, bro, I don't think so, because I remember Robert Tractor Trailer was like that. Now, Big Baby Davis from LSU, he was actually playing well before the tournament. He was a pretty good player. But some of these players need that NCAA tournament to show that they can kind of step out of the pack against top teams, and then the NBA kind of takes notice and at least gives them the invite to the workout.
He just like Zach Edey, he'll be too much of a liability on defense.
On defense,
put him in the pick and roll. You put him in the pick and roll, he's going to struggle mightily. And then you think about his game offensively. He doesn't shoot it much past 15 feet.
Yeah, but I was saying he has some nice touch though on the inside, man. I like that touch.
He does, but are you going to run your offense through him in the NBA, dump it into him, let him work? And most teams are playing the 3 games now. They'll let you dump it into him. Yeah, go ahead, get the 2 points. We're going to outscore you eventually. So I don't see him making it in the NBA. I don't know if he'll even get an opportunity. And they're talking some NFL teams are looking like what they see.
I would not be surprised. Remember John Nelson from Jordan Mason years ago when they thought that they could make Antonio Gates out of him? The Giants gave him a chance, but he didn't work out. But you know that athleticism is always going to be there. I mean, that athleticism that a tight end has, it could be like the power forward. Like they claim that if LeBron played, he'd be in the NFL Hall of Fame right now. You decided, man, stop it, man, stop. It's like when they talk about these basketball players. If he'd have gone to boxing, boy, there's more involved than just size getting into a boxing ring. Just like there's more involved than just size becoming a football player from a basketball background. It's helpful, coordination and athleticism, but somebody's hitting you.
I just haven't heard anything of him having a football background. They've mentioned a few times growing up, he watched Akeem, and that's why he has good footwork. You know, he worked on his footwork, but he was given Zach Randolph's body. So I think if you're watching Akeem and you're working on your footwork, you're not thinking about the gridiron.
Yeah, that's true. And when you mentioned Zach Randolph, just keep his body, not his issues off the court. He can do better without those.
Man, that kid's personality, he's smiling and just having fun.
That's an NIL guy right there.
It's infectious, man.
It is.
I don't know what his type of NIL deal he has right now, but it's unfortunate This is his senior year, I believe.
Yeah.
So if this would happen last year, he would have had huge deals this year.
And the
But
irony, though, this time around is when you become a senior and you're playing in the tournament as a senior, you're probably not that good compared to what the NBA wants you to be. Because the people who are worth a damn are typically the freshmen or the sophomores who come and leave and go to the tournament. They'll come from the tournament and go to the NBA because you already shown that you can play and you can do well, or the trajectory on you is a much higher trajectory. If you made it to your senior year and you're in the NBA and you're in the NCAA tournament, you're probably a middle-level player at best. Very big shades of Shane Battier when he just won every award you could possibly win in college. He played on every good team you could have at Duke. He was the captain. He was everything. But then he got so pissed off when all of those high school kids went in front of him. You know, when Curry and all those guys. I think, man, who else is I think did Sean Livingston come out that year? But I just know Sandler came out that year. All those guys that came out of high school, and he was just upset. I've already proven myself at Duke. How come they're still going in front of me? And after the way things turned out, Tyson Chandler had a much better career than Shane Battier. You know, so the NBA knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, but Battier contributed to a couple of rings, I think, in Miami.
Yeah,
he got at least one.
Yeah.
But back to the Final Four. Edie versus DJ Burns.
Bro.
Man.
Edie showed up, man. Come on now. I got to give credit what credit is due. This guy was a stiff in the whole nine. Probably still is. But, yo, this guy is making it happen. They're going directly through him. He's putting them hella numbers, and they're freaking winning. I mean, they're winning well. They struggled yesterday.
It looked like all they had was Edie for a while. In the first half, it was Brendan Smith was contributing. Second half, their swing guy Lawyer was contributing a little bit, but he was missing shots. Gillis normally knocks down threes. He was broke. Jones normally knocks down threes. He was broke. He was shooting air balls. And I texted my friend. I said, Duke might be in trouble, man. They need somebody to help Edie out. And Jones finally knocked down the three. And I think that was a turning point. Like, they got a contribution from someone else. But, yeah, Edie fouling out half the team, 40 and 16, cutting down the net without the ladder.
Without the freaking ladder.
Day, kid.
That's a freak show, man. Him and Wemby.
Yeah, right.
Man. But now let's talk about just how good UConn is. And from a historic perspective, can you even compare based on the way college basketball is now? The lack of talent we've talked about now multiple times, now going on a freaking year, and then still talking about what they compared to UNLV. Bro, I don't think there's any comparison. I think this same UConn team, being as built as they were, even last year's UConn team, going against that UNLV squad still loses by at least 15.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see the same NBA talent
on
UConn, but they are a complete team, man.
Absolutely.
A 30-0 run. I mean, that's like a father playing against his kids. Like, get that out of here. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. 30-0 run? That's unheard of, man.
Their halftime adjustments in this tournament especially have to be the best in a long freaking time. They could be up by just 9, and you could go into the locker room and say, damn, we might not even come out. And then next thing you know, they're up by 30, and they win by 30 or 27 or 25. They're blowing you out. Those halftime adjustments, in college basketball in particular, those halftime adjustments mean everything. You can look at especially the beginning of the season, but now that you're seeing it in the tournament where this is supposed to be the end-all, be-all, you're seeing those halftime adjustments, man. I mean, even yesterday with Duke and North Carolina State, I was like, because of them being familiar with one another in the ACC through the tournament in the regular season, I don't think that's that big a difference. Even with the talent on Duke's side, there's still not that big a difference between the two teams because they're so familiar with one another. And we saw that. It played out. The halftime, Coach K was known for his halftime adjustments, but now with Coach Shire, are they still the same kind of effective halftime adjustments? Apparently not this time.
I don't know what to say to that. I just know NC State was all over them defensively. Even at the end of the game, when they're up 12-13 and Duke needs to score, they were still playing tough. They were still playing tough defense and fouling. I was like, yo, back off, man. Don't stop the clock and give them free points. And I'm not saying just give up threes, but they play a physical brand of defense, and the refs happen to start calling it. I was like, yo, turn it down just a little bit, man. You don't want to foul them and give them free points. That kind of extended the game longer, but I mean, he was never in doubt. I'm just speaking to the intensity of NC State's defense.
And Duke started getting those 3-pointers finally going in towards the end of the game.
Oh,
trying to make it interesting.
Man.
That dude, was doubt.
McCain can shoot. That dude was splash. I was like,
he was splashing. Yeah, he was getting
a hand up in his face. But I think he scored 9 points the last 50 seconds. So he ended up with 30,
he hit those 3-pointers.
Yeah, but when they really needed him, NC State had him bottled up.
And bro, I mean, seriously, now looking at the game as a whole and watching, now that you have a chance to have a retrospective point of view, bro, now can you really see the talent level, how far it's down? This mid-range game is absolutely, completely gone in college basketball. I mean, you get some specialists only because they look at Steph Curry, but when you look at the actual games, throughout the course of the game, the shots that are missed, the time that goes by without any scores, the rebounding is still there, but the shots, the misses, the breakaway going in the layup is still missing the layup. I mean, that happened a lot, not just this game, but throughout the entire freaking tournament, even with the so-called lesser teams.
Yeah, in NC State, they missed, I think, 4 or 5 layups in the first half.
That wasn't happening before.
Hold on. I don't know about you, but I'm superstitious as hell. And I had a red shirt on, and I noticed it was inside out. Like it was just a cutoff. I was hanging out the crib. I wasn't going nowhere. I wasn't worried about what I was wearing. But I happened to go wash my hands, and I looked. I saw in the mirror the seams. I was like, oh, shit, my shirt's inside out. I was like, well, I'll just leave it. At halftime, we were down 6. I was like, fuck this. I took the shirt. I put it on right. Put my dog where he was sitting Friday night. And the second half, they turned it around. So
man. I
don't know if it was the shirt. I don't know if it was the dog. I don't know if it was a combination. Whatever. NC State won, man. That's
Keep it on. Keep it on Saturday, man. Because, we're looking at the way they play, man. This is the hot team right now, but we have a few hot teams because Purdue had gotten hot at the right time. NC State definitely hot at the right time. Connecticut's probably been hot since freaking December, and it's all going to have to clash. Alabama just got hot. Did they get hotter? They started to get freaking luckier. I mean, seriously, I'm like, what the hell is up with this team, man? But they're there. They're freaking there. And we have our Final Four. I think still looking at it, people are going to say that UConn has pretty much are the favorite to win it. But now the way things have worked out and teams getting hot at the right time, man, I don't think UConn has a lot to worry about, but it's still college basketball. We've seen upsets before. Now, I know that
you never know. I mean, it seems – I said you never know.
Exactly.
It seems UConn has enough depth that even if one guy gets in foul trouble, they can overcome it because that's what happened to UNLV, right? Greg Anthony fouled out.
Yep, Greg Anthony freaking fouled out. That was the leader of that freaking team, even ahead of Larry Johnson. If
E gets in foul trouble, Purdue's done. DJ Burns gets in foul trouble, NC State's done.
Yeah.
But who can you say that about on UConn?
Yeah, but UConn's coached so well, man, that these guys don't get themselves into foul trouble. It's like
I'm saying, usually that's how an upset's going to happen to a really good team.
Yeah, it's when the unexpected.
Right.
Yep, and the depth can't get you out of the hole, or you kind of play from behind and you can't be as aggressive because you're behind in the fouls. But anyway, I think it all plays out really well. Alabama seems to be the odd team out. Like if you had that Sesame Street, one of these kids are doing their own thing. Alabama would be one of those teams out of the 4 that would be out, but the other 3, yeah, they.
I don't know about that. They beat Carolina.
Yeah.
Carolina, they're playing well.
I don't know, man. I just hadn't been overly impressed with North Carolina all this year. I don't know if it was because of Armando.
But they still were the number 1 seed.
But you know what? The bottom line is, hey, we'll get to see Alabama, yeah. But I'm just saying, I guess the hottest of the hot teams have been the 3 teams we've been talking about. Alabama just kind of looks like it's new to the dance now. After all, this is their first Final Four. So surprisingly, thought last year would be a year.
I guess I see what you're saying. Like they're the most slept on.
Yeah.
Purdue's
but a higher seed than NC State.
It's their first time there since 1980, so they're getting a lot of attention. Matt Painter redeemed himself.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, apologies, coach. I was calling for your head last year. I said you should have been fired. You have redeemed yourself. My apologies. NC State, first time to the Final Four since 1983.
Yeah.
So those are huge stories.
Absolutely.
But you think about Alabama, they've never been to the Final Four.
Never,
So that's
exactly,
a huge story too.
And UConn going for 6.
Right.
6. People forget UConn's now going for a 6th championship and a back-to-back at that. So, man, that's insane. I was just watching some shining moments yesterday just from previous years, just for the hell of it. I'm saying I watched last year's. I've been watching 2022's, man. I went back to 2011. I was watching Gators going back-to-back. I'm just watching them, man, randomly. But, yeah, man, some great basketball coming up. And guess what? It's not just the freaking men. The women are starting to show, or they're not starting. They've been cooking. We got
Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese tonight. Rematch for the championship game. That's going to tip off here in a few minutes, actually.
All right, so we better be able to
get by the time you watch this, the game will be in progress or maybe even over. But for us, it's about to tip off.
Yeah, man. But so you have, you know what? You look at their stats. I know people are trying to put these people together, and I know how society's trying to make these people hate one another, even though their stories are completely different when they're dealing with one another. Looking at their stats, we already know what Caitlin Clark does. But, man, she's an absolute turnover machine. On the other hand, Angel Reese, she doesn't turn the ball over like that. She doesn't score as much as Caitlin, but she gets her assist, and obviously she's helping her team, but she gets her points, not like Caitlin. No one does. But she doesn't turn the ball over like Caitlin. Caitlin, bro, this chick just gift-wrapped everything like she's Pepperidge Farm or somebody. She's giving them away. Like, what's going on here? But, yeah, she's still great. I think if I had my choice, I'm still taking Caitlin. But these two getting together, man, it's only good for women's basketball. It's good for basketball, period. And by the way, did you hear the story about the NCAA tournament for the women? They actually had the three-point line 9 inches closer by accident.
I saw that.
Come on now, bro. They're doing free throws.
It was for Texas and NC State. The NC State women are still alive.
Yeah. And what did they play in that court? Because they're using it for this last game and they're not going to use it anymore. Wait a minute. You know that it's 9 inches closer? Are they going to change now?
They're playing Texas and they agreed to just play. I guess they figure, one team shoots that side, the next half the other team shoots that side. So it comes out even.
Yeah, it bounces out.
I didn't watch the game. I wasn't all that interested in it, but they just put up on the screen. NC State won 76-66. So I don't think it wasn't that close where it made a difference.
Yes, but how complacent can you be as the people who are contracted to put that down? I mean, they're hitting free throws and thinking they're splash sisters. Come on, man. Splash sisters from free throw line. Man. Get out of here, 9 inches closer. You're only supposed to begin with. Get out of here with that. But that's what it was, man. So we'll get a chance to see them a little bit later. There's going to be a hell of a story to talk about depending on how it ends up. But I think when these two get together, man, yeah, they had that little friendly rivalry going, but they're going to be fired when they try to, when it really starts up. So college basketball, not putting a lid on it, but it gives us a chance to move on and pivot to the big boys, the NBA. Well, what's been going on in the NBA? I mean, freaking Jalen Brunson scored 61 freaking points and a losing effort. What is up with that? Is he just going to the school of Devin freaking Booker, scoring all these points and can't catch the win?
That's not the first time. I believe the T-Wolves lost when Cat had his monster game. I don't know. People were scoring points, but maybe not playing defense.
The teammates must not be playing.
I didn't watch the game.
These dudes are in the zone, man. But I'm looking at the when who lost by 60 freaking points the other night? Come on, man.
Oh yeah, who did that? Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Withhold their checks, man. You lose like that.
That's those type of games are where 1, 2, 3 Cancun came from.
Bro, 60. I mean, bro, man, what do you say in a freaking locker room? What do you say in the locker room as a coach or to each other? Or even on the sidelines on the freaking bench?
I would have cussed him out if I was the coach. I would have lost it. 60 points?
You ain't getting paid next week over this nonsense.
Try? Do you even care? At some point, some pride got to kick in.
Yeah, exactly. Have some pride. That's what I'm feeling. That dudes just don't have.
You
the
couldn't
pride.
keep it within 40? 40? You couldn't keep it within 40. You couldn't lose by 39? 60, bro.
60,
on,
man. That's a whole new game, man. Come on.
Right.
There's just, I don't know, as a player to lose that way, football is better because at least there's 7 points every freaking touchdown or an extra point. Basketball, 60 freaking points, man.
But it looks like Embiid's coming back tomorrow.
It's not a fight. It's something. Yeah. Embiid finally, but you know, and Philadelphia's the 8th seed right now. They're at the 8th spot right now without him. So
yeah, but maybe he can come back soon enough to get into game shape and he'll be ready for the playoffs. The ball's going up.
Well,
who are you going for, LSU or Iowa?
I'm always going to go for Iowa, man. Come on. I mean, LSU's probably going to win, but I'm going to go with Iowa.
I'm not sure I care who wins. I just want to see a good game.
That's it. Well, I want to see some stats. That's it. Right? I want to see some numbers, man.
But hey, you got to give it up to LeBron. 9 of 10 from 3-point range. He'll never shoot that well again. But that's crazy.
And how about this news? I don't know if I'm going to be in the NBA much longer. But when did that happen?
Well, come on, man. He's 39. Caden Clark.
He's like 100 years old, man. What the hell?
Clark just hit a 3.
You be on your list.
Clark just hit a 3. 3-zip.
Who hit the 3?
Clark.
Oh, come on, man. We already know who hit the 3. I shouldn't even ask.
LSU missed her on their first possession. She came off a pick and she just let it fly. Splash.
Yeah, by the way, Vontae Davis passed away. Former Miami Dolphin, former Colt, 2-time Pro Bowl at the cornerback spot. Man, 35 years old, young guy. You know, no foul plays expected, but I'm not trying to read between lines, wait for the official story to come out. But man, when you're 35 years old, you're passing away, and all of this stuff in the media about the NFL and CTE, man, come on now. You can't help but think about it. Don't be reckless to say that it is, but it's something to think about. Easy.
Where's Rasheed Rice?
Where is he? Carmen Sandiego? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? When the hell is Rasheed Rice? Come on, man. What is going on with these players?
I don't know, man. You know, we talked about in the summertime when Harbaugh got suspended. Yeah. He didn't get suspended for the foul. He got suspended for lying about the foul.
Yeah.
You doing something stupid and something happens, you're gonna make it worse by leaving the scene.
Absolutely.
You just man up, wait for the cops. Don't have the cops looking for you. You got APB out. You got TV saying authorities are looking for Rasheed Rice. Come on, man. You just made it worse. I mean, I know it sucks. I mean, I've never done anything stupid like that. But I would hope I'm smart enough to say, man, face the music. You did it. Face the music. Because you just make things worse. You think they're gonna give you 3 or 4 charges anyway, right? And then you leave the scene. They're just gonna give you 4 or 5 more charges on top of it. You'll be looking at 8 or 9 charges.
Worse charges.
Right.
And now we know that Kansas City will be looking for a receiver in this draft. I traded up to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, they did pick up Hollywood.
This guy was supposed to have been their bottom star receiver, and he pulls this nonsense. What is going through these players' freaking heads?
They did pick up Hollywood.
What do you say?
They picked up Hollywood, but losing Rice, I don't see how they don't lose him.
Exactly, man. It's going to be something, man, because Roger Goodell's going to get involved eventually. You know, I don't know how many games it's going to be. But I think he has enough talent for them to still hang on to him and just deal with the suspension that's going to come. But, man, it's just the fact that he even has to get suspended, man. I mean, this tarnishes your fucking – it tarnishes you, man.
Man, Caitlin Clark's dropping dimes, but someone just blew a crib. It's 9-4 Iowa.
All right. I'm looking for Iowa to pull it off, man.
But anyway, NBA coming down the stretch, and Embiid, I don't know if he's going to be 100% healthy. They're in the 8th seed, so they're going to have to play in. If they get the 8th seed, they'll get Boston, probably get bounced. But they still be at full strength. The West, man, those guys, it's going to be like a Royal Rumble, man.
That's exactly what it's going to be, man. I was saying in the beginning of the season, I thought the East was better, and I thought from top to bottom it was. The West is now working its way into being exactly that because they're coming to the East and just whooping on teams. I mean, what was it a couple of nights ago when they went? I think it was the Lakers who went to Milwaukee, or who went to, I think somebody went to Milwaukee, just beat up on Milwaukee and just walked them out of there. I'm like, all right, now what? I'm like, okay, so we see how that's turning out. OKC goes to Madison Square Garden. I mean, the Knicks aren't world beaters. They have their own injury issues. Mitchell's down again, so he didn't play in yesterday's game. But still, they come to the freaking Garden and they win there. So yeah, the West is handling it business.
We haven't talked too much about Dallas. They turned things around, man. They're on the road. They stopped the Rockets' winning streak.
Winning streak, yeah.
And
but you know what? Earlier we talked about them, and we was like, man, I just don't know why the winning isn't coming the way it should. You see these numbers between Kyrie Irving on the case.
They figured it out,
and they finally figured it out exactly. So at the right time, though, this is what the down the stretch means. These guys getting it figured out and making that scramble before everything starts to matter for real, getting your ass into the tournament, as Bill Parcells would say, and doing what's necessary to be the top team left. Now, what's up with Denver? Denver is now getting it together.
They're fighting for number one.
They're back in cruise control, playing on Top Gun.
Yeah, but they're still fighting for number one with OKC.
And
OKC's not going away.
Only because Minnesota, Cat is out. Minnesota's falling down because of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying the OKC, you think that young team will start to fade a bit. They're hanging in there, man.
You know what? There was one of two things. They were either going to start to fade or their youth was going to be the reason why they were able to continue going. And they happen to get all this great experience and excitement and a lot of confidence along the way as young players can get. And these guys don't realize
I just remember Lonzo Ball, they said is cleared. I don't know if he's going to come back. I don't know why you'd bring him back with 10 games left.
Really?
But they said he's cleared.
Then Stephen A. said he would never play again? Stephen A. is a man. Come on, man. You can't always... Well, I don't believe him all the time any damn way. He's a source to look for, but he's not the source to guarantee what's been said.
No, I think because of their format and the rule he has, like you have to make a prediction. You can't be on the fence. And sometimes they say things that turn out to be totally, completely wrong. Yeah. Because they have to hold themselves to that dumbass. Oh, yeah,
and you can't be right every damn time. But Stephen A. makes a habit out of just saying things sometimes instead of much more substantive things that matter. He does that. He gets into that word soup, category at times and just do a lot of circle jerking with his talking. But anyway, NBA still hot, getting hotter. We're going to have more than enough time to talk about that. But baseball finally started back up. The Dodgers, the odds-on favorite to win the World Series this year. Well, 4-2 right now, still not bad. The Yankees undefeated, sweeping the freaking Astros 4-0. Get out of here. Well, Garrett Cole, their freaking ace. I'm surprised by that. The hell's going on here? But
I didn't even know that. I haven't been paying attention to no baseball.
I went to minor league baseball last Friday, opening day, minor league baseball, watching the affiliate of the Marlins, playing the affiliate of the Braves, and actually the Marlins affiliate, AAA affiliate, actually won. That was a pretty damn good game. But anyway, I looked at some of our guys from last year, like Ellie De La Cruz, kind of struggling a little bit right now as a young kid. Corbin Carroll over there in Diamondbacks, because the Yankees are now in Arizona to play them tonight at 9:40. So he's not playing exactly right. Luis Ariz, about bat 125 right now. But this is way early. This is way early. Because we're seeing dudes with 600 freaking averages. Juan Soto, though, if you're talking about the reason why the Yankees are 4-0, there he is right there. Because right now, Aaron Judge's .111 average ain't getting it done, ain't hitting a home run. Stanton hit a home run, but Juan Soto, bro, everything we asked for so far, but a hell of a long day.
Yeah, that dude can hit, man.
We already know, bro. He's on fire, bro. This dude's batting with 500, still just 4 games, but he's the reason for the season with this. I was surprised with Marcus Stroman pitching the other night.
I want to give a couple middle fingers to the LA Times.
What would they say now? What do they say freaking now, the LA Times?
Oh my gosh, you didn't hear there's an article when UCLA was going to play UCLA. UCLA was going to play LSU. They called it good versus evil. They called LSU the dirty debutantes.
See, that's what starts the bull crap. And then the people who like the bull crap, they gravitate to that to glorify the bull crap. And then we have this dissension between the two teams, and even more than that, which we don't need.
I think we kind of trashed Moki at the time when they lost to South Carolina. She was saying, I wish he would have pushed somebody her own size. But I got to give her respect. She called them out, and she said, pull out your phones and Google dirty debutantes. And I saw that yesterday. Today, I said, well, let me see what dirty debutantes is. It's porn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's porn. So you got this person at the LA Times calling the players hoes. Damn. And then he called the UCLA players milk and cookies.
See, how they get away with this crap? That's not journalism, man.
Who's the editor there? He should be gone.
Somebody who should be there also.
He or she should be gone.
He or she should not be there, but that's what they do these days. And there were people more than happy to digest that nonsense to help either their own narratives, push their own agenda, and all the other nonsense that adds to the crap that these so-called journalists put out there that takes away from the game itself. It really does. Especially this is the time that the women are really on par with the men in their tournament. And you want to tarnish it with this nonsense from the outside when the game is good enough.
There's no place for it, man. That's ridiculous.
No, people get away from that. People come to sports as a diversion from the nonsense outside, not to continue doing it here and magnifying it. But that's what we have now. We have
and then I saw a video on Twitter. Iowa's last game. One of Iowa's players have fallen down on the defensive end, and they're saying, "Look, Caitlin Clark doesn't even help her up." And she took the ball out from out of bounds, and then she started going up court. And she was getting so much hate, and people were saying, I know she's selfish. She's selfish," and calling her names and all kinds of stuff. She dropped 15 dimes in that game. How the fuck is she selfish?
Man, they look for reasons. We know those kinds of people, or we've seen those kinds of people, whether social media or somewhere else, just in a regular conversation. Those types of people who like to keep that nonsense on the forefront, regardless of what she would have done, they were going to come to that conclusion regardless. It could have been, whatever. She didn't help her up. Or if she tripped, she didn't help herself up. They'll probably come with something because that's just what they do.
She's in no way perfect. Maybe she should have picked her up, but maybe she was worried about a 5-second call. I don't know. Nobody asked her about it. I don't know what she was thinking, and I can't speak for her. But if you're going to hate somebody for that, man, you need to look in the mirror. You got issues.
We know now from speaking about this that it's always more than just basketball now than when Caitlin Clark comes up. And let alone when it's Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese both coming up. It's never just basketball or focused on basketball as it should. When right now, if any time that I can remember, this is the best time I've seen with female basketball, both WNBA and college. I think this supersedes whatever the freaking pros have done.
Yeah, it does. I don't know what's going on in the WNBA.
And I don't care until Caitlin gets there. Then we'll see for a little while.
Nailed it. You nailed it. Don't care.
Don't care. Absolutely don't care out there in the WNBA. The only reason why people watch it tonight is primarily Caitlin Clark, and you do have your contingent of fans, probably even a large contingent that wants to see Angel Reese, but you're getting both of them. And that's the reason why those numbers are going to come together. It's kind of like a big pay-per-view in boxing. You have to have those two marquee names for everybody to enjoy, like the mainstream, because just boxing fans alone isn't going to get that huge money. But, yep, we can shut it down now, man, because the game's on. You probably want to check it out. And, of course, I want to check it out, so we'll get a chance to shut up on the show. Come back on Thursday. The Sports Bag Bros podcast will have some more results from you. I'm sure so much is happening between Friday and now. So much has happened. So I expect a lot of whatever's going to happen between today and get until Thursday, because
maybe they locate Rasheed Rice by then.
Yeah, right? Not just speaking through his lawyer and freaking WhatsApp. But anyway, our Trav, he's biased, and the Sports Bag Bros podcast is going to sign off for another day. Until then, deuces.
Peace.